A week before the election, the polls indicate that Trump will be losing by 3 or 4 points. And if that's the case, he in fact will win.
So Dominic, last time we were speaking, it was on the night of Brexit, and you, like many of my other guests, were adamant that the UK would stay in the European Union. Did it come to you as a shock, and what does it mean for business?
For economic reasons, the UK should have stayed or voted to stay in for economic reasons. But obviously, there was a majority of a silent majority that was hurt by the UK remaining in the European Union. So from economic reasons which still exist, that the UK will suffer by leaving, and indeed the UK may have second thoughts on actually leaving.
So again, we had the US election and everyone was adamant that Hillary would win. I mean, I had my reserves, Trump could win because of the Brexit vote, but did you think the same? Did you think Trump could win, and what does it again mean for business?
Absolutely, I was not wrong this time. A week before the election, the polls indicate that Trump will be losing by 3 or 4 points. And if that's the case, he in fact will win, because there are many people in the electorate of the United States that will not say that they would vote for Trump. They have, after all, they've been called deplorables. And so they choose not to say, and I said, if indeed the polls indicate that he would lose by 3 or 4 points, he may actually win, because there is a precedent for that. When Reagan was to be elected, the polls indicated that he would win by 2 points. He won by more than 10 points. So there is in the electorate people who will not say that they will vote for a conservative or a centrist rather than a leftist. So this time I was entirely correct, and all the polls were completely wrong.
So it seems like the populist vote is getting a lot of attention at the moment. We have many elections across Europe. We have the referendum soon in Italy and elections in France and the Netherlands. But will this massive political change affect any business?
Well, certainly business will be affected by and reflected by votes. But people must understand one thing, that globalization is being attacked as the reason for many people being against the globalization. But globalization had 2 aspects. Some people, as all revolutions, and globalization is a revolution, they have positive aspects and negative aspects. Some people benefit and some people lose. But the theory of globalization was that we want globalization because the people who win earn more or gain more than the losers. But the part of the globalization process to be effective and to be approved or to be followed is that some of the benefits had to be taxed in order to compensate the losers. Since the gainers gained more than the losers, this was possible. But globalization was made with only the first part. That is, the people who gained retained their gains. They were not used some of those gains taxed and to compensate the losers. And the losers in the majority, or the silent majority, especially people who have very little training, low income, low earning wage earners, those are the people that were hurt, they were not compensated, and they voted against. And this is what's happening. So it is not globalization, it's the way globalization was introduced. And frankly, when we say taxing some of the benefits, it's not just to increase welfare of the people who lose, it's to provide funds in order to provide some training for the low-trained people. They don't have to become very highly technical. People just may have to learn the computer or to learn how to use Excel, where their productivity would increase and they would retain their jobs. Since that was not done, they voted against, and the globalization got a bad name, and now there is a repercussion or reversal of the process.
Well, thank you, Dominic, for coming here and speaking with me today. It's been a pleasure.
It's also my pleasure, and we will see next year or in the next 6 months is what we said was true or false, or we were wrong or correct.